Alright, this is my 2012 Suzuki Boulevard M109R. I'm going to be doing the oil on it today. It's pretty simple, nothing too tough about it. I'm also going to change the gear oil on it also. So I went out and I got some Motrol 2050. It's a gallon. It usually takes about the whole thing. You don't want to put any more than that, otherwise it'll overfill it and spill out at your air cleaners, and we don't want to have that happen. So, but basically all you really need is a 17mm wrench. If you have a K&N oil filter like I do, the 17mm will also fit on that. So you won't need like an oil filter remover or anything. But if you have a regular one, you might need an oil filter wrench or something. But I'm sure you'll be able to figure that out. And I got the Mobil 1 synthetic gear lubricant, 7590, for my gears. Alright. So basically, when you go to do your oil, you have two bolts on the bottom of your oil pan. You need to remove them both. If you don't, you will not drain all the oil out of your bike, and you'll end up overfilling it. And that's not good, because then it pours out of your oil filter when you're riding around. So that's no good. So basically, we do the pan first. You come underneath, and there's two bolts. You got one right here, and one right here. You got to do them both. So that's always something you need to do. And they're both 17mm. Crack them loose. My motor's hot right now, so I gotta be careful. Burn my hand. That's bolt number one. Two. And you let it all completely drain out. Stand your bike up once it gets a little lower. Make sure you get every drop out, because if you overfill, like I said, it will spill out your oil filters and makes a mess. It's not good. You got these fairing pieces in the front here. There's a couple grommets you got to pop off just to get them loose. I mean, if you're on a lift, you probably don't need to take all this shit apart, but I don't have that luxury. And your filter's right down in here in front of the bike, and I gotta just loosen these out. I get these out of the way, and then I can just put my 17mm wrench on there, and then I loosen up my filter, and I drain that out. And it's pretty easy. Just loosen it up, pull it off, and prime the next filter. You pour a little bit of oil in your next filter, just get it. Not a lot, just a little bit in there, maybe a quarter of the way. And then get your seal wet from some old oil. Just put it around the seal just to get it wet, and then you just put it back on. It's pretty easy. Filter, I got it loose. So I just take this guy off. I got my pan right underneath it because it's going to start leaking. Just to catch the oil, obviously. Hopefully I won't drop it in there. Sometimes I freaking spaz out. And I drop it in the freaking pan like an ass. Let's let that drain a little bit in there. Get it out of the way. Try not to get oil over everything. Right now, little oil's leaking out of there. No biggie. And now that the bike is drained out, I can put my oil pan nuts back on. Always check, there's a magnet on the end. Always check that. Sometimes there's metal filings on it. Just clean it off. I already cleaned mine off. But that's just to check it and see if there's any metal filings and just remove them. And you're good to go. You can pop them back on. Can't see what the hell I'm doing. There it is. I don't know why I'm having trouble finding this. One. I like to put them on hand tight, and then I'll give them a little torque afterwards. Here it is right here. Once again, these are a 17 millimeter. Just get them like tight, and then just give them one little crank, not too hard. You don't want to over tighten. Once they feel snug, just give them a little. This is a little pull, and that's it. If you over tighten them, then you can strip them out. You definitely don't want to do that. The K&N oil filter is a K&N 138, but I didn't realize when I ordered it online, I normally like to get the black one. The 138C is the chrome. So it looks like I normally like the black, whatever. You don't really see it too much in this bike anyways. But, so you know, the 138 is the black and the 138C is the chrome. Got my new filter. Just pour a little bit of oil into it. Move, just move it around. Get the stuff to soak up the oil that you poured in it. Take a little bit of oil and move it around the seal, just to get the seal wet. Usually helps with it sealing up a little better. And there it is. There's your. It's gonna go right back on. Just take it, and you're gonna want to put this on hand tight before you crank it down with your 17 millimeter wrench. I always have a little trouble getting it started. Once it bites, it'll be fine. Definitely do it hand tight. So I got my filter going on. And we want to get that as tight as we can with our hand. Of course, my hand ain't gonna do crap right now. It's just oily as shit. But get that on there as good as you can, tight as you can with your hand. Get your 17 millimeter wrench. And just crank it down. I couldn't get it too tight with my hand, but I'll just do it a little at a time. I wish I had someone else hold the camera for me, but it's about as good as I can get it. Feels up. You never want to over tighten it. soon as it starts to feel like it's getting tight, let the hell off, because you're going way too much at that point. You don't want to make it so tight it's hard to get off next time. And then, you know, you can always check it afterwards and just to see if it's leaking, and if it is, you just give it a little turn and it should solve the problem. Alright, put the oil in now. Very simple. It tells you how much to put in right there. 3,400 milliliters. So try to put in at least 38, because if you got to put a little extra in for your filter. But you're also, be careful when you first start filling it, not to overfill it right away, because you have to turn the engine on at a little way through this, just so you can get the engine into your block. Then you can pour the rest of the oil in. But if you put too much in now, it'll overflow on you. So you want to get maybe half the jug in there, maybe less than that, maybe a quarter. I've screwed this in many times where it overflows on me right here. But whatever, you just clean it up. Which about almost half. Start my bike, and it'll suck the oil up into the pan just for about maybe 10 seconds. Don't let it run too long, and then go ahead and pour the rest of your oil in. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Make sure you put your cap back on, because you don't want it blowing out on you. Just get it on there. Well, started the bike, let it run for about 10 seconds, let it get the oil into the pan and the filter, and then at that point you should be able to pour the rest of your oil into your motor without overflowing on you. These little steps you want to do just to make sure it doesn't overflow. If it does come to the top on you while you're doing this again, just start it again for another 10 seconds and then it'll suck in the rest. It should take this whole thing. It's a little bit more than what my normal bottle I buy, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Because it takes 3,400, I usually put it in about 3,800. 3,800 is about a gallon, and that's what this is. It's pretty simple. That's about it for that right now. This part I'm going to do my gear oil, which is pretty simple. You got a 21 millimeter nut on the bottom, and you have your 17 millimeter bolt fillet. So that loose. Glad you all got to see that. It's wonderful. let that drain out completely. Fucking oil all over my clean jeans. So once you get that out and it's draining, you got the top one here, the 17mm goes on there, and you just loosen that up. And that's where you'll fill it from. I don't know how much of that really has to come out of there. Just drain it the best you can. This also has a magnet on the end of it for any kind of metal filings, shavings, or anything like that. Just clean that shit off. Best you can. And then you just put it back on. As with everything, I always suggest hand tight, and then afterwards torque it down. Never overdo it, just give it a little pull and you should be good. And to fill it is no big deal either. Basically, you're going to refill the inside right up to the top of the threads there. To where it's just coming out. Spilled it, or if it's, let's see. Of course, I have to get my bike a nice clean wash after this BS. Alright, so I'm right there at the top, right at the thread mark. And then you just put your cover back on. Take your 17mm, and then as soon as it feels tight, just give it a little, and that should be it. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, share, whatever you can do to get my videos out there. That'd be great. Thanks a lot and have a good day.